Hey guys, so today we are going to be making this great big 16-inch cloth pad. It is good for your heavy days, overnights, postpartum, whenever you need more coverage. This puppy's got you covered. This one in particular is made out of flannel on the top. The inside is 3 layers of bamboo. It's actually a cloth diaper liner, and it is backed in water-resistant fleece, and it has size 20 cam snaps on both sides to keep your wings together. And we are going to talk about how to make this, about how to make a quick pattern for it, and about some absorbency options. So stay tuned right now. Okay, let's talk absorbency for a second. Here we have 3 different types of absorbency. The first is terry, like toweling material. The next is a bamboo diaper insert. And the next is a microfiber diaper insert. Each of these 3 things has the same absorbency, but let's look at how thick they are, okay? To measure pad thickness, normally you fold it in half. Okay, so this is how thick a heavy pad would be with terry cloth. This is how thick it would be with bamboo. And this is how thick it would be with microfiber. So let's take a look here. Terry, bamboo, microfiber. If all of them are going to hold the same absorbency, personally, I'm going to choose the bamboo because it is so much thinner. Toweling is cheaper, especially if you have extra towels at home. If you have diaper inserts, microfiber diaper inserts, those are great too. Unfortunately, these aren't quite long enough for our project, so you would want to cut off the ends and sew a couple of them together. But if you are done cloth diapering, or you just happen to have a massive amount of these things, you can find them super cheap on eBay because a lot of people don't like to use the microfiber. They hold on to the ammonia smell and baby pee, but that's not going to be an issue when you are menstruating. It's not going to have that urine ammonia smell. So you can get these fairly cheap. You can probably get these for $1 a piece or 50 cents a piece. If you look in diaper swap and shop pages on Facebook, you can find these in there too, super, super cheap. These are a little more expensive, but I ordered these direct from China, from AliExpress. If you're going to do that, make sure that they have a good seller record and they have a lot of sales. That way you know that they are reputable. But look at how thin that is. And it is 3 layers of bamboo. So there are 1, 2, 3 layers in here of bamboo, and this is very thirsty fabric. It soaks up quickly and it holds a lot, and this is 17 inches, so this will be actually perfect for our project today. Okay, let's talk patterns. I have my giant piece of fleece here so that we can see the paper. It was an issue the last time because I had a white table and white paper. Okay, so I have taken 2 pieces of regular printer paper and taped them together so that it equals 17 inches across. We're going to make a 16-inch pad. We want to have a 1/2 inch seam allowance so that we can stitch it together and then turn it and top stitch it. So we want to make sure we have a good 17 inches here. So I have cut this to I have taped this to 17 inches. For the liner, I have taped this to 15 3/4 of an inch. So that way we have plenty of room that it will fit. It's plenty wide enough that we can make it fit. But we don't want it to be too long that we can't get a good seam and a good seal on our actual pad. So let's go ahead and make a pattern. Okay. Once you have your pieces of paper together at 17 inches, what I want you to do is we're going to fold it tape side down because you're not going to be able to draw over the tape. So I'm going to fold it in half. Boy, I did not tape this well, did I? All right, fold it in half and then fold it in half again. So up here's the top, this is the middle seam, okay? On the middle seam is where we're going to make our wing. Now I want my wing to be 2.5 inches from the center of my pad. Over here on this fold is the center of the pad. This is the outside of the pad. So let me get my pencil. Right here we have a fold. Okay, and right here we have a fold. Okay. So fold here, and it's open to all four right here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a ruler and I'm going to measure in from this edge here 2.5 inches. I'm going to make myself a little line at 2.5 inches. And then I want it to be 1.5 inches over, because I want it to be 3 inches in total, and it is folded in half right now. So I'm going to make this mark at 1.5 inches. So what I want to do is line up this mark with the point here. If you want a squared off corner or squared off wing, then you would do it to the center of your squared off wing, but I like a pointed wing, so I'm just going to do this. I find it much easier to sew. Okay, so this is going to be my wing. Now to make the rest of my pad, we're doing this freehand, so whatever you like. I like where it starts to flare straight from the wing and it ends up much wider up at the top. So I'm just kind of going to freehand this. See if we can't get it to the wing. So there you go. So it'll be nice and wide in the front and back. It'll slowly taper into the gusset of your panties where your wing is, and then it'll flare back out to the back. So you'll have good coverage in the front and the back. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. So there's that pattern piece. Now I'm going to keep this together while I get my other piece that's going to be our lining. That's going to be our absorbent core. So this is my 15 3/4 inch. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to fold it in half longwise. And then I'm going to fold it in half again. Okay, so again, fold on this side, fold on this side, and I'm going to take my pattern piece here, I'm going to line it up to the wing. So we have the bottom fold to the bottom fold of both of these, and then I'm just going to outline this part here because I know I'm going to want my inner core to be smaller than this. And then from here, you're going to want to go straight down on the wing. You don't want to lose any absorbency, especially right in the middle. So we're going to take this and we are just going to go straight down. This is not going to be affected by anything because that's the wing. All right, so now I know that I want this to stay exactly the way it is, but everything else I want it to come in about 1/2 inch. Okay, I can come in a little bit more on my way down to the wing. All right, so then when I open this, I have my pad pattern. Okay, so this is my pattern for the pad, and then this is my pattern for the inner core. And you can measure it up and see if you need to take off anywhere. From the front and the back, it looks good. We may want to take off a little on the sides, otherwise it's going to overhang. So, and that may just be that I have a little extra here. But let me go ahead and fold this up, and I'm going to take a little more off of here. Okay. Line it up again. Top and bottom look good. Side to side look good. So you have enough room here to get a seam and enough room back here to get a seam. You have enough room all the way around to get a nice seam when it's lined up. Looks good? All right, so go ahead and cut this for your fleece, and your topping piece, and then cut your absorbent layer from this, whatever you decide to use for your absorbent layer. I am going to use that piece of bamboo, that bamboo diaper liner. So I will meet you back here in just a minute. Okay, so I have my fleece here. I have the fuzzy side up, the less fuzzy side down. That way it doesn't pill so much as you wash it. Then I'm gonna take my absorbent core here. And then I have my top piece. Okay, and it looks like I may need to take some off of my absorbent core. So I'm going to trim it, make sure everything looks good, and then we will move on to the sewing machine. Okay, so now we're gonna work on the machine. I am going to take my topping fabric and I'm going to put it face side down. And then I'm going to take my absorbent liner and I'm going to set it in here, and then we're gonna pin it up. Okay, so I cut some notches out in some areas to make sure I could really get into these corners when I am sewing the fleece onto the back. So now I am going to pin this all together. Okay, so we're going to go to the machine and we're just going to do a straight stitch all the way around to attach the absorbent liner to the front. Okay, so I'm going to do a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm going to start with back stitching, and I'm just going to do this on a basic straight stitch. Okay, and when you get back to the beginning, back stitch. Okay, so here you have your absorbent liner attached to your front piece. Okay, any places where it may have gotten too tight around the edges, go ahead and trim up. I'm going to put this right side to right side so we can pin and stitch, and then we will turn it out. Okay, so I'm going to turn it here at the back. So I'm going to start here with a back stitch. I'm going to stitch all the way around everything, and I'm going to come back here and I'm going to back stitch, and then I'm going to push everything up and through. And before I do that, we're going to trim around. We're going to cut off the point here as close to the seam as we can so that it makes a nice sharp point when we turn it out. So let's go ahead and get that done. So I've dropped my foot. I'm going to do a few back stitches. Okay, and then we're just going to stitch all the way around. want to kind of trim at least the wings. Cut off the tip flat as close to the point as I can get. That way when I go to turn it out, I can get a nice sharp point there. Okay, so now that it's all trimmed up, let's go ahead and start turning it out. And at this point, all we need to do is top stitch it. And when we start from this end, we're going to curl these two ends in. When we start at this end, we're going to curve these two ends in and seal them shut as part of the top stitch all the way around. So we're going to start right here, right before this opening. When I use snaps, I like to use these little plastic snaps, and I have a cam snap plier. I will leave a link to where you can get these on Amazon in the description box below. It comes with, you'll need 4 pieces. You'll need 2 of these little flat pieces here, and they have a little sharp thing that comes up. Then you'll need 1 of these that has the raised part, and then 1 of these that is flat and then will fit in the raised part once they are all put together. So you'll want 1 going down on the fleece. Okay, so 1 going down on the fleece and then 1 coming up through the fleece. I'm going to put the flat one, oops. So at this point we have 1 pokey coming up through the fleece and 1 pokey going down through the fleece. So on this side I am going to take the little flat piece, I'm going to lay it in there so you can see the pokey thing coming up through it. I'm going to lay the flat backing into the little concaved area here. Okay, and then I am going to push down as hard as I can. And what it does is it flattens out that little spike. So it holds those 2 pieces together. All right, so now over here with the one that we have facing down through the fleece, I'm going to flip it to the right side of the fabric. Okay, and I'm going to take the other piece and poke it through. Okay, and then again I'm going to put the flat part in that little round disc, and then I'm going to squeeze as hard as I can. Okay, and it flattened it down into there. So now when you wrap this over the gusset of your panties, these two pieces will snap together, and then you can snap them apart. They're stiff when they're new, but do it a few times and it'll start to loosen up. See? Much better now. So I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, or if you would like to see more sewing videos from me, hit that thumbs up button. If you have not subscribed yet, please feel free to hit that subscribe button down below, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye.